Welcome to Tanu Science. In this video, we'll learn the answers for NEET 2019 Physics held on 5th May Part 1 Code P2. Question number 46. In which of the following processes heat is neither absorbed nor released by a system? Isothermal. Isothermal is nothing but the change in temperature is zero, that is temperature is constant. Adiabatic is nothing but change in heat energy is equal to zero, that means heat energy neither absorbed nor released. Third one, isobaric. Isobaric is nothing but change in pressure is equal to zero, that is pressure is constant. Then fourth one, isochoric, represents change in volume is equal to zero, that is volume constant. According to question, the heat is neither absorbed nor released by a system, that is option 2 is the right answer. Question number 47. Increase in temperature of a gas filled in a container would lead to, so increase in temperature, that increase in its kinetic energy. We know that formula relation between kinetic energy and temperature. Kinetic energy of a gas is equal to 3 by 2 kT, where 3 by 2 and k constants. So kinetic energy directly proportional to the temperature. When the temperature increases, kinetic energy also increases. According to this, option 2 is the right answer. Increase in its kinetic energy. Question number 48. The total energy of an electron in an atom in an orbit is minus 3.4 electron volt. So this represents total energy. Its kinetic and potential energies are respectively. The relation between total energy and kinetic energy is total energy is equal to minus kinetic energy. Now kinetic energy is equal to minus into total energy. So kinetic energy is equal to minus, here given total energy minus 3.4 electron volt. So here minus into minus plus, so 3.4 electron volt. So this is kinetic energy. Next we have to find the one more, potential energy. The relation between potential energy and total energy is PE is equal to twice of TE, that is potential energy is equal to total energy value, the given minus 3.4 electron volt. If you multiply together, we'll get minus 6.8 electron volt. So the potential energy is minus 6.8 electron volt. So according to this, option third one is the right answer. Kinetic energy 3.4 electron volt and potential energy minus 6.8 electron volt. Question number 49. The correct Boolean operation represented by the circuit diagram drawn is here A, B, two keys. This LED represents bulb. Here 6 volt is connected. Here two resistors are connected in the circuit. One represents on, this 0 represents off. Inputs A, B, this Y is output. When A and B both are open, A is 0 and B also 0. Now from the 6 volt current passing through the LED bulb, so the output is maximum 1. Next, A is open 0, B is closed, so B is closed means 1. Now current passing through the LED, because A is opened, current passing through the LED, so output is 1 maximum. Next, now A is closed, that is 1, B is open, here circuit is disconnected, so current will not flow through this A and B, so that current flows through the LED bulb now also, so output will be 1. In the last case, both keys are closed. When both keys are closed, current flows through the keys A and B. So no current passing through the LED. The LED bulb will not glow. So output will be 0 when A and B keys are closed. So this truth table represents NAND gate. So option third one is the right answer. Question number 50. A block of mass 10 kg, that is mass given 10 kg, is in contact against the inner wall of a hollow cylindrical drum of radius 1 meter. This is radius R. The coefficient of friction between the block and the inner wall of the cylinder is 0.1. This is coefficient of friction is mu. The minimum angular velocity needed for the cylinder to keep the block stationary when the cylinder is vertical and rotating about its axis will be. So we have to find the minimum angular velocity. According to the question, this is hollow cylindrical drum of radius 1 meter. In the inner wall of the hollow cylindrical drum, there is a block. This block is attached to the inner wall of the cylinder. The minimum angular velocity needed for cylinder to keep the block stationary when the cylinder rotating about its axis. So when the cylinder is rotating, this block should not fall. So it should be attached to the wall of the hollow cylinder. So what is the minimum angular velocity? We have to find out. So when the block is attached to the inner wall of the hollow cylinder, this is normal, that is perpendicular to the block. This will be, when rotating the cylinder, this will be centrifugal force mr omega square. This will be FL, limiting friction. This will be weight of the block. Now FL, that is limiting friction, greater than or equal to mg. Limiting friction formula is mu n greater than or equal to mg. Mu n is nothing but mr omega square. Greater than or equal to mg. Here mass will be cancelled. Now we have to find out the minimum angular velocity. Omega represents minimum angular velocity. So we can take the square root. So minimum angular velocity means we will get the equal. We won't get greater than, we will take only equal. Omega minimum, so g, mu r will go to denominator. If we take the square root, we will get root of g by mu r. Now we will substitute the values. Here g value in question itself given 10. So g is 10. Then coefficient of friction between the block and the inner wall of the cylinder in question given 0.1. So that mu value 0.1. Then radius they given 1. Then minimum angular velocity is equal to root of 10. The 0.1 can we write 1 by 10? Yes, 1 by 10, 1, no need to write. So this 10 will go to numerator. 10 into 10, 10 square. If we take square root, if we take out of the square root, we'll get 10. Unit of angular velocity, radian per second. So according to this, option third one is the right answer, 10 radian per second. Question number 51. Body A of mass 4m moving with speed u collides with another body B of mass 2m at rest. The collision is head-on and elastic in nature. After the collision, the fraction of energy lost by the colliding body A is. We are given head-on collision and elastic collision. So elastic collision nothing but no change in the kinetic energy, and head-on collision is nothing but the collision occurs in a same straight line. Before collision, object A or body A moves with velocity u, its mass is 4m. At the same time, before collision, body B, its mass 2m, it is in rest. This is before collision. After collision, this 4m object A moves with velocity va. Object B 2m moves with velocity vb. Now we have to find out after the collision the fraction of energy lost by the colliding body A. So here elastic in nature is nothing but kinetic energy will be constant. Here they are asking only fraction of energy lost by colliding body A. First we will find out the after collision velocity of body A. Va is equal to ma minus mb divided by ma plus mb into ua. This is to find the velocity of body A after collision. Va is equal to ma. So mass of body A is 4m minus mb. Mass of body B is 2m. ma value is 4m plus mb value is 2m. ua, that is initial velocity of body A, that is u into u. Now Va is equal to, if you simplify you will get 2m by 6m. mm going to be cancelled, then 1 2s are 2, 3 2s are 6. So Va is equal to 1 by 3 into u. So this is after collision the velocity of body A. Now we will find the fraction of energy lost. So fraction of energy lost is equal to half ma ua square. This is initial energy of body A minus final energy of body A divided by initial kinetic energy of body A. Now 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2 will be cancelled. Then ma also we can cancel. Now ua square minus va square by ua square. Ua square value we know that ua value is u. So u square minus va square value is 1 by 3 into u whole square divided ua is again u square equals, here u square minus 1 by 3 is nothing but whole square is 9 into u square by u square. Now u square you can take out, so 1 minus 1 by 9 divided by u square. This u square going to be cancelled. Now energy lost, 9 ones are 9 minus 1 by 9. So 9 minus 1, 8 by 9. So fraction of energy lost is 8 by 9. So according to this option, second one is the right answer, 8 by 9. Question number 52. The speed of a swimmer in still water is 20 meter per second. We can take as v. The speed of river water is 10 meter per second. This one you can take as u. And is flowing due east. If he is standing on the south bank and wishes to cross the river along the shortest path, the angle at which he should make his strokes with respect to north is given by. So let us consider this is river bank. We know that this will be north, this will be east, this will be south, this will be west. The speed of a swimmer in still water 20 meter per second. The speed of river flowing this direction, that is u is equal 10 meter per second towards east. So towards east water is flowing in the river towards east. Then that swimmer standing on the south bank. So here swimmer standing on the south bank, he wishes to cross the river along the shortest path. So along the shortest path means the perpendicular distance between these two parallel lines. So he should move in this shortest path. Already water is flowing. Suppose he is moving in a straight path, he may go this direction because water is flowing. So water force acting on the swimmer. So that swimmer should make some angle towards west. So that velocity he can take as v. So that velocity is 20 meter per second. If he is moving in this velocity in this direction, he can reach the another side of the river by using the shortest path. Now this is shortest path. This will be angle theta. Now sin theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse, u by v. U value is 10, v value is 20. Then theta will be cancelled. So 1 by 2. So theta is equal to sin inverse of 1 by 2. Then theta is equal to sin inverse of 1 by 2 is 30 degree. So the swimmer moves towards the west. So this direction west. So 30 degree west. According to this, option 1 is the right answer. 30 degree west. Question number 53. A mass m is attached to a thin wire and whirled in a vertical circle. The wire is most likely to break when? Let us consider this is fixed point of thin wire and another end of the thin wire connected to mass m. When it is whirled in a vertical circle, at any point, the equations T is acting towards a fixed point, then mg acting perpendicular to the ground. So this will be theta, here mg cos theta. Now T upward direction positive, here downward direction minus mg cos theta is equal to centripetal force, that is mv square by r. So when the tension is maximum, when theta is 0, cos 0 is 1. So cos 0 1 means in that lowest point. So mass is at the lowest point. This is lowest point. Mass is at the lowest point. Theta is 0. So cos 0 is equal to 1. So that tension will be maximum. So the wire is most likely to break. So here mg cos theta, here theta cos theta value is 1. So T minus mg will go that side. T equal to mg plus mv square by r. So mass is at the lowest point, tension will be maximum. So the wire is most likely to break. So according to that, this option third one is the right answer. The mass is at the lowest point. Question number 54. The displacement of a particle executing simple harmonic motion is given by y is equal to a naught plus a sin omega t plus b cos omega t. Then the amplitude of its oscillation is given by. Here amplitude is nothing but maximum displacement. There a naught, this a naught represents mean position. So this is mean position. it won't be oscillation. So your oscillations A sin omega t and B cos omega t. So if you mark in this A sin omega t, then B cos omega t, they are asking only the amplitude. So magnitude of amplitude R is equal to, according to that parallelogram law of vector, R equal to only amplitude. So A square plus B square plus 2AB cos pi, where pi is angle between A and B, where 90. So R is equal to root of A square plus B square. Here cos pi, cos 90 is 0. So this third term fully 0. So R equal root of A square plus B square. So this will be amplitude of its oscillation. So option 2 is the right answer. Root of A square plus B square. Question number 55. A 800 ton coil of effective area 0.05 meter square is kept perpendicular to a magnetic field 5 into 10 power minus 5 Tesla. So 800 ton, this number of turn N. Then area is A. Then magnetic field is B. When the plane of the coil is rotated by 90 degree, so theta here 90 degree, around any of its coplanar axis in 0.1 second, that is time, the EMF induced in the coil will be. So first, the coil placed perpendicular to a magnetic field. So perpendicular to a magnetic field means, consider this is the 800 ton coil, this is the magnetic field. Now angle between the normal area and magnetic field is 0. Theta is equal to 0. They mention perpendicular. So perpendicular means the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane of the coil, but the angle between normal area and magnetic field is 0. Now we will first find the initial magnetic flux linked with the coil, that is pi I is equal to NBA cos 0, because here angle is 0. Now pi I is equal number of turns 800, magnetic field 5 into 10 power minus 5, then area given in question 0.05. So 0.05, cos 0 value is 1. Now pi I is equal to, so this 100 into 0.05 will be 8 into 5 into 5 into 10 power minus 5. So if you multiply, pi I will be 8 5s are 40, 200. So 200 into 10 power minus 5 Weber. This is initial magnetic flux linked with the coil. Next, this coil rotated by 90 degree around any of its coplanar axis. Now it will be 90 degree means this is magnetic field direction. So this will be 90 degree. Now normal area and magnetic field is theta is equal to 90. Here cos 90 is equal to 0. Now pi f, that is final magnetic flux, NBA cos 90. So cos 90 is 0. So everything will be 0. So pi f is equal to 0. In question they are asking EMF induced in the coil. So induced EMF is nothing but rate of change in magnetic flux. So E is equal to minus final flux minus initial flux divided by change in time interval, minus pi f value is 0 minus pi I value is 200 into 10 power minus 5 divided by time interval. In question the given del t 0.1. So here you can substitute del t value 0.1, minus to minus plus, so 200 into 10 power minus 5 divided by 0.1 you can write as 1 by 10. The 10 will go to numerator. So if you simplify, we will get 0.02. Unit of EMF is volt. So 0.02 volt. So option last one, fourth one is the right answer. 0.02 volt. Next, question number 56. Average velocity of a particle executing simple harmonic motion in one complete vibration is. Average velocity is nothing but displacement, that is total displacement by total time taken, displacement by time. For complete vibration, displacement is 0 by time. So 0 by anything will be 0. So average velocity also going to be 0. Option 4th one is the right answer. Question number 57. A soap bubble having radius of 1 millimeter, this is R, is blown from a detergent solution having a surface tension of 2.5 in 10 power minus 2 Newton per meter, that is T. The pressure inside the bubble equals at a point Z0 below the free surface of water in a container. Given G 10 meter per second square and density of water 10 power 3 kilogram per meter cube, the value of Z0 is. So now we will consider this is water below the water surface at Z0 distance. There is a soap bubble having the radius 1 millimeter. Now excess pressure is P is equal to P naught plus 4T by R. P naught is atmospheric pressure, T is the surface tension, R is the radius of the soap bubble. This is excess pressure. Next, gauge pressure is P is equal to P naught plus rho G Z0. P naught is nothing but atmospheric pressure, rho is nothing but density of water, G is the acceleration due to gravity, Z0 is the distance below the water surface. In equilibrium, excess pressure is equal to gauge pressure. Excess pressure is P naught plus 4T by R is equal to gauge pressure P naught plus rho G Z0. Here this P naught will be cancelled. Now 4T by R, this rho G will come to denominator, rho G is equal to Z0. 4, the surface tension value is 2.5 into 10 power minus 2 divided by radius of the soap bubble is 1 millimeter, that is 1 into 10 power minus 3. We have to convert into millimeter into meter. So 1 into 10 power minus 3. Rho, density of water they given 10 power 3 in question itself. Then G value 10 meter per second square. So rho value is 10 power 3. Then G value is 10 is equal to Z0. Here 10 power 3, 10 power minus 3 cancelled. Now 4 into 2.5 is 10 into 10 power minus 2 by 10 is equal to Z0. 10 going to be cancelled. Here 10 power minus 2 is nothing but 1 centimeter is equal to Z0. So according to that, answer is third one, 1 centimeter. Question number 58. A copper rod of 88 centimeter, that is length of copper rod you can take as L1, and an aluminum rod of unknown length have their increases in length independent of increase in temperature. So aluminum rod of unknown length you can take as L2. The length of aluminum rod is, so we have to find out the length of aluminum rod L2. We know that the change in length divided by original length is directly proportional to change in temperature. Now del L by L0 is equal to, that proportionality is removed by equal to and constant, that is coefficient of linear expansion alpha L, then del T. Del L is L naught alpha L del T. So L naught is nothing but original length. Now we can write for copper rod and aluminum rod. So del L Cu is equal to del L aluminum rod. So del L value is L naught. So L naught means original length of copper rod. So you can take as LCU. Alpha L is nothing but coefficient of linear expansion of copper. So alpha Cu. Then del T, that is change in temperature, del T. Now aluminum rod L, Al, alpha Al, del T. Here del T cancel. Now LCU, so length of copper rod, they given 88 centimeter. So 88 centimeter. Then coefficient of linear expansion for copper, they given 1.7 in 10 power minus 5. So 1.7 into 10 power minus 5 is equal to length of aluminum rod. We are going to find out into coefficient of linear expansion of aluminum is 2.2 in 10 power minus 5. So that 2.2 into 10 power minus 5. Now you can cancel this 10 power minus 5, 10 power minus 5. Then if you simplify, the length of aluminum rod is 68 centimeter. So according to this, option fourth one is the right answer, 68 centimeter. Question number 59. The unit of thermal conductivity is the amount of heat transferred with respect to time dq by dt is equal to minus Ka dt by dx, where K is the thermal conductivity. So we are going to find the unit of this thermal conductivity. Unit of heat energy is joule, unit of time is second, is equal to K. We are going to find out unit of thermal conductivity. So let it as K. A, unit of area meter square, unit of temperature Kelvin, unit of distance is meter. This meter square meter will be cancelled. This K is thermal conductivity, this K is Kelvin. So joule per second is watt. We know that because according to that question we are changing as watt. This Kelvin and meter will come this side. So meter came here means meter power minus 1. Then Kelvin came here means Kelvin power minus 1 is equal to K. So this is unit of thermal conductivity, watt meter power minus 1, Kelvin power minus 1. So according to this, option fourth one is the right answer. Question number 60. When a block of mass M is suspended by a long wire of length L. This is block of mass M is suspended by a long wire is L. The length of the wire become L plus L. So due to the weight of the block, the length of the wire is extended as L plus L. So that is additional extension, elongation is L. The elastic potential energy stored in the extended wire is, so the extended wire is additional potential energy U is equal to 1 by 2 force into elongation. U is equal to 1 by 2. So force is mg, elongation is L. So of mg L. So according to this, option third one is the right answer, of mg L. Thank you students. Don't forget to see part 2, part 3 of NEET 2019 physics. Thank you students.